Tira, eta hurrengo gure izlaria, Norvegiatik dator, Rorrosetik, Frank Norbik, bezez, oantxe igoko da gurekin. Kontatuko dizuet, Rorros Europa osoan egurrezko eraikinez osatutako herri zaharrenetakoa dala. Herri honek apustu irmoa egin du turismo iraunkorran alde eta ibilbide horretan hainbat hainbat aitortza jaso ditu, ez? Batetik, UNESCOk gizadiaren ondare izendatu zuen 1980an, eta orain dela 4 urte berriz, 2013an helmuga turistiko iraunkorraren ziurtagiria jaso zuen Norvegiako gobernuaren eskutik, ez? Turismo arduratsu horretan nola lan egiten duten azalduko digu orain Norbikek.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? First of all, hello to all of you. And a special greeting to the organization of Aktu Batu. And also a greeting to all the students who is using 2 days here to learn about the sustainability and ecotourism. That's great. I'm so honored to stand here and talk to you about something I'm so proud of. Destination Røros and its way of getting sustainable. It's been hard work for 9 years now, and we are not, you never finish that race, but we have done a great job getting sustainable. I'm also proud of talking to such a highly competent group of people that know a lot more than I do about sustainability and ecotourism. But I'm hoping I'm going to give you an exotic journey today, telling you about, thank you, our way of sustainability. But first of all, I must tell you, I find the Basque region so beautiful, extremely beautiful, and the food I've tasted so far is great. I'm going to stay here till Monday, and if I'm going to eat so much that I did yesterday, it's going to be big trouble. Like I say, I find this region very exotic. But just to tell you where I'm coming from, yesterday when we left Røros, which in the mountains in the middle part of Norway, we had 15 minus 15 degrees Celsius. And when we arrived in Bilbao, it was 27.5. That's a 42.5 difference. So we were like having a whole lot of clothes. Coming there to Bilbao was quite warm. Okay, Røros, a sustainable and responsible destination. It's an old mining town. It came on the UNESCO World Heritage List as 55 in 1980. And it expanded in 2010 with the surrounding municipalities. There was this Swedish guy who found copper. At that time, the middle part of Sweden was Norwegian, belonged to Norway. Not many people lived there. Only the Sami people and a few hunters lived up there. It's only 2 hours drive, Røros, from Trondheim, which is the region capital. Maybe some of you who are interested in football have heard about Rosenborg. They played in the Champions League 11 years in a row in the 1990s and the 2000s. But I tried this football question yesterday during the dinner, but not many people were interested in sustainability and football. In Norway, that's possible. There's modern people living there, and as you see, we are using the modern art to show who we are. Only 3,700 inhabitants in the center of Røros mining town today, but there are 20,000 in the region. And the last count, we approx 1 million visitors yearly. That's quite much for this little wooden town in the mountains. It's quite different from anything else, even in Norway. You can't imagine. Oh, I'm losing some numbers here. The best culture municipality in Norway in 5 years in a row. I see the last 2 years are missing here. Also 15 and 16. And that's something the Norwegian government are doing. And they count how many concerts, how many people go to culture school, playing instruments, and so on and so on. The sports are not in there. It's also a very big sports municipality. Destination Røros. It's a mutual destination company for six municipalities. We are the voice of the region for tourism. Main responsibility is sale and profiling, branding, tourist information, development project to increase value in tourism. We had a new strategy from 2009. If I go back to 2006, the organization had a large defeat. We needed an economic turnaround process. For 1.5 years, we had a focus on survival, and we saw we needed a new shift of strategy. Spring 2008, we started comprehensive strategy process involving over 100 members of the destination. Small and big companies working together in groups to make a new strategy. It was necessary to have a more unifying strategy with a stronger focus on the overall destination instead of many individual companies. We wanted to base strategy development on the government national tourism strategy, valuable experiences, and regional strategies, and to develop a more distinct and customer-oriented profile. We organized several strategy membership meetings to involve all our members, so everybody could feel the new strategy, so they could live the strategy, think the strategy, and deliver it to all the customers who came to Røros. Out of this, it came a wish to focus on World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage. Where is the closest World Heritage here? Can anyone tell me? UNESCO World Heritage? You got something in San Sebastian? Bilbao? Okay. I know in Norway it's quite big now. People are traveling to World Heritage sites all around the world. I always take my kids and my wife to travel on World Heritage sites in Europe. You got them all over. In Italy, for example, in France, you got quite many. And I know also in Spain. But out of this process, our members wanted us to focus on World Heritage, number 1, sustainability, winter and snow, and local food. Quite similar, actually, to the Basque region, even though you don't focus on winter and snow, of course. The goal was simple and hard. More travelers to stay longer, to spend more money, but in a sustainable way. So we united destination with a common strategy, unifying effect within the organization. The goal, increase the revenue, earnings in the tourist industry and related industries, increased number of visitors to the region, increased residence time in the region. Vision, captured by Røros World Heritage Site, experience of value through preserving and renewing. The strategy, number 1, World Heritage, 2, sustainable tourism, 3, visibility, 4, value creating. The values. Doesn't this street look nice? It's almost like the old town here in Tolosa, even though it's in wood. And it looks like this still. It's just like this. And this is actually our heritage cow. It's the cow from our area. It looks like that. Okay, we want it to be strong, authentic, generous, mutic, and innovative. And use knowledge as a tool to prepare ourselves to be good and responsible hosts. I'm going to tell you more about the prizes we won, but one of the most important things we did do at that time, we had all our members in courses, host coursing, how to help people, how to make your journey and experience in Røros. A knowledge lift, we used a museum in Røros to have, it says 500 now, but in 15 and 16, 400 more has done it. So it's 900 people in this small community who has been on those courses. Knowledge lift, history, world heritage, and the region circumference. Learn about each other's companies to make good sellers, to sell each other. Talk good about each other. And after you have done this, you could get a copper card, a self-study. To get this card, you had to go through at least 3 guided tours in the region, and you had to visit at least 3 other members. Then you got a copper card, and you have to take the 2 courses. And when 60% of the companies got the copper card, they got this symbol, horseshoe, to put outside their building, their door, their hotel or your shop or your restaurant or your industry. And all the people who got through also got this horseshoe to put on their chest. And this is the sign you could put outside your door. And it did something with the whole region. People got proud. They tried to learn more. They learned more about each other because of visiting, talking to each other in groups. It was a big, huge success. Now I'm going to show you a film from my region. Where is the sound? Any sound up there? But the pictures are the most beautiful anyway. We have snow in Røros from late October till late April. So it's quite cold. But during the summertime it gets hot. Even so hot we can swim in the lakes. But that's for Vikings. But as I know, it's a lot of Vikings here in this region as well. The church was built in 1780. It's the 3rd biggest church in Norway. It can house 1,674 people sitting in this little place. My film didn't work out very well, but you still see the pictures. Sorry. We got 2 national parks, which are very popular for trekking. Røros is one of the places in Norway where the growing conditions are most poor, probably in Scandinavia. But still, Røros has become the local food capital. We are so proud, just like you. We don't have that much, but we have so many farmers who make so clean and good food, and all the members are using the local food on their places. So we have this company called Rørosmat, which is translated Røros Food. It's now 35 local food producers who's producing everything between, as you see, cheese, a lot of reindeer. The Laplanders are in our area, the Sami people. I think there are 12 Sami families living of reindeers out there in the mountains. Not very much grow in the earth, only this mountain potato. That's one of the few things that we can eat from that. So we have to import a lot of stuff from Spain, for example. But we have fish, meat, and we have all kinds of dairies, products. Cold climate, light summer nights, where everything grows slowly, gives a unique taste. And you know that everything that grows slowly gets more taste. And it's clean. And something which has been a big success, we started to make local food guide courses. And I think we have like 20 people now who are educated as local food guides. And they work in steps, where we start with step 1, basic knowledge of the region to find the host in themselves. And then knowledge courses about mining history, host training and knowledge of each other. And 2 to 5, a depth course in the history of local food. Our food culture, they taste the products, the food and the scenery of the Norwegian cuisine, visit to food producers, and inspection of all the local food safari roads. I think we have 5 different roads now, from 2 hours till 6 hours. So if you come to Røros, you can, on the tourist board or in the hotel, buy this food guiding with the lunch. I have been in like Piemonte in Italy doing exactly the same food and wine trip. I just love it, and I think it's something we can make get big afterwards. Yeah, you can see on the pictures. It's fresh and green during the summer, I tell you. It's really, really green. But really, really dark during the winter time. We don't have much sun during winter. It's summertime, it's all light. The sun never go down. So we can stay outside in the light during the summertime. But quite dark during the winter. But we have the snow, so it lights up. And we are probably the most successful food company, local food company in Norway. And they are going to sell this year, they are selling for 300 million kroner, Norwegian kroner. In a few years, they are passing 1 billion, which is like 125 million euros in 5 years. That's the goal. So it's quite successful to be in the mountains in this small place. More about the sustainability. We have been working very hard to get the certificate, and we have now reached that goal. We were the first destination in Norway to be sustainable destination. We try to stimulate environmental certification of the business, common sustainability policy for the entire destination towards a common goal. So when we started this to certificate companies in the destination, we only had 2 certifications. After 5 years now, I think we have 37 companies who are certified. And you see the future roads towards sustainability certification of the destination. It just before Christmas we got it for the whole destination. As the first one in Norway, very proud of that. You work on different levels to get this goal. We were working very hard with the World Heritage. And we have 6 different goals. One was the hospitality. My organization has, through knowledge of our World Heritage site and local history, and seeks to be a good host. So, be a good host, it's important to, I think, to have success. Then, local produce. We are proud of using more and more local produce in our organization, and we wish to stimulate further economical growth and a stronger local community by using local products. This took some time to get people to serve local beer instead of San Miguel from Barcelona, because we are selling that in Røros as well. But why shouldn't they sell most of the local beer or the local cheese, local potato? Their social values. We aim to give our guests authentic, memorable, and magical experiences, and we enjoy sharing our stories of past and present with our guests and with each other. And again, talking together, the members of the destination, selling each other. The people who work in our organization are the most important resource, and ensure that our guests enjoy quality experiences during their stay in our region. Good local knowledge is therefore essential for our professional image. Good local knowledge is essential for our professional image. I think a lot of destination has a lot to learn about that question. Know more about the whole region and about each other. And maybe the most important in this sustainability question, environmental awareness. My organization reinvests the future by being conscious of climate and environmental issues, and by acquiring the information necessary to respond appropriately. This includes looking at waste disposal streams, water and air emissions, and energy consumptions. And to do all this, you need an economic growth. Lot of destination and people forget that it must be economically sustainability. If people don't make money, they can't be sustainable. So this is the sustainable policy for Destination Røros. Common goals for all members: to be good and competent hosts, to use and serve local produce food, to give authentic and magical experiences, good local knowledge, invest in people, in environmental awareness, develop for economic sustainability. We also have a cooperation with schools and students. We start with the kids in school from they are small to take care of the World Heritage Site. Every class has their own building they're taking care of for 9 years in school, 10 years in school. Every class has their own building they are working with during 10 years. We also work with the university in Trondheim, which is quite a good university. I think it's 40,000 people studying there. So it's large in Scandinavia. Oh, sorry. We also work with the trash, how it looks. So we used students from Trondheim to design for a new World Heritage trash bags. The biggest group of people we ever had, of foreigners, was in 2013. We had 300 tour operators from all over the world. And they were buyers, tour operators. So we showed them, there was Innovation Norway who brought all those people, and we gave them an experience I think they will never forget. In the wintertime in Røros, using the big church, even had a rock concert in church. And even where we put the plate for food, we were telling them everything they were eating in English, Chinese, and Spanish. My time is running up. We have been winning 2 of the most prestigious prizes for tourist destination because of this work with sustainability, and I guess that's why they asked me to come here today. And so this first prize was the Virgin Holidays Responsible Tourism Award. The year after, we won the Tourism for Tomorrow. And there are 3 big prizes. I don't remember the name of the other one, but we were nominated and came second in 2016 as well, in a big prize like this. No one in Scandinavia has ever won a prize like this, and few in Europe has won it. So that's quite good from a small destination. Okay, I'm ending. Sustainable development is for us a permanent focus. Learn from each other. Don't envy others' success. Use each other's competence. Share knowledge about sustainability. Is it worth it? This is from 2015. The last year we were the place in Norway who had most increase of all destinations. We had a 35% growth last year, and that's inland and outland. So we are having a great success now. People are coming, people are using us, people are staying longer, and people are using more money on local food, local products. So sustainability is a holistic approach. Planet, people, profit. Thank you very much. And if anyone has any questions, I would really much.
Thank you. Norbaitek galderarik baldin badauka, aprobetxatu orain. Bai, Frank. Just in case.
Hi.
Hi.
Mi pregunta es que ¿cómo impartís las clases y cómo hacéis que lleguen esas clases o la información sobre esas clases a la ciudadanía?
Oh, it wasn't turned on. Channel 2?
Yes.
Que repita. Vale.
Errepikatu mesedez.
Vale.
One more time, please.
¿Cómo impartís las clases y cómo hacéis llegar a la ciudadanía esas clases para...?
The translator must tell me one more time. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Yes. No.
Are you talking? The translator?
A ver.
now.
Yeah.
How is it working, I
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, the translator. Yeah, okay. If I understand your question right, how we make those classes and how kind of impact it has on the community. I think it has a great impact. First of all, great impact, because people get to learn each other companies. They got to learn each other personal, and it's much easier to sell someone you know. About the sustainability, the green change, I think people got more aware of the sustainability thought, because we have such a focus on that. And how we made the classes I was in charge of was only getting my members, 180 members, to get together. I think 105 of them met the first time and got through all the strategy process. So, but that's quite many. 105 of 180 is great, because there's always someone who don't care or can't or whatever, are on holiday or in Basque country like I am today. So it has a huge impact. Yeah.
Besterik?
Yeah.
Good morning, Frank. Quería preguntarte acerca de... Has hablado de que la región de Roros recibe anualmente cerca de 1 millón de visitantes. Eso supone una media de unos casi 3.000 visitantes diarios. 1 millón de visitantes al año son aproximadamente unos 3.000 visitantes al año. Y me pregunto, has comentado el tratamiento de los residuos, el tratamiento de las basuras. Me gustaría saber cómo habéis gestionado o qué, digamos, tecnologías o de qué modo habéis gestionado el uso o el reciclado o la transformación de esos restos, porque aquí en esta provincia el uso de los residuos ha creado una fuerte controversia. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. Now I heard everything. Okay. 1 million tourists, that's a bit lie, I think. I don't like that number, because it's not people staying one night. There are a lot of cabins in Røros. I think we have almost 4,000 cabins, and they're visiting Røros quite a few times during the year. I think they put those numbers in there as well. But there are tourists. And we have a lot of festivals. We have the biggest winter festival in Scandinavia. Almost 100,000 people are coming only in 5 days. They're all been counting in this. And we have this outdoor play in the summertime. There's also like 50,000 people coming, visiting us during that minute. So, but I think we have like 1,000 hotel beds and then a few cabins for hiring. About the waste problematic, that's not something I could do something with, but I was just pushing the community, the municipality, and the government. So we were just pushing. We came with those 108 signs from my members, and we also helped them to design good garbage bags to put outside. But with the recyclization, it's government problematic, and I think they're handling it quite well. Everybody in Norway, almost everywhere, they are putting plastic there, they're putting paper there, different paper there, and the usual waste there. So I think most people in Norway have at least 4 garbage bags putting things in. And then you have the metal and things, and then we put that in one place in the community. So it's pretty good taken care of all over Norway, actually. It's not a big problem, as I have heard. I don't know much enough about it. I'm more a kind of tourist guy, just pushing them.
Besterik? Bai.
Buenas, Frank. Sí. Sí.
How do you do it? Maybe there's... Yeah.
Sí. Okay.
Your translator, my translator, I'm hearing you. Where are you? Hey! You're really good though. I'm very impressed. How you can manage to sit there when I'm talking and translate all the time. Aren't you impressed? Yeah. Give them a big hand. Okay, the question.
Sí, Frank. Has dicho que habéis trabajado muy duro para ser declarados Patrimonio de la Humanidad. ¿En qué sentido? ¿Cómo habéis logrado esto?
To become a World Heritage. Yeah. You see, I'm very young, so I didn't have anything to do with that. That was in 1980. There were this group of people who has been working so hard to take care of the old buildings because the people who lived in Røros, the Røros people, they wanted to burn it down and build modern stuff on the top of it. And actually, it's better when people are coming outside. I'm moved into Røros. I'm not from Røros. And I feel every day happiness walking around those old buildings. But still, there are a lot of the people who lives there who don't think they are very practical because, like in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s, they couldn't even put a new toilet in those old houses because it was so strength what to do. So, but there was this group of people working with the museum and working to take care of everything, and they went to the government. They got heard, and we came on that list. And that list is so it's so strict. So if you do something wrong, they kick you out of the list. Like in Germany, you have this big city close to Czechia, where they built this modern bridge over, I don't remember the name of the city. They built this big modern bridge into the old town, and they got kicked out of the World Heritage Site. So you have to have enthusiastic people who are competent to doing it, and they have to be a strong group going together. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah.
Osondo, eskerrik asko, Frank, amaitu behar dugu, thank you so much. Galderia goiago alin badazkazuen bezez, oharretan. Thank you.